4 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, and a lot of Oscar firepower behind this movie as well. We're going to talk about the movie on the whole. I'll give you my review and as well what I think the film's Oscar chances are. Let's talk Nightmare Alley. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the recent film Nightmare Alley. We've got this on Oscar Watch now for sure. Now that the nominations are out, we can say definitively, yes, this is an Oscar Watch movie. 4 nominations, like I said, including Best Picture. We'll get to sort of what I think the chances of this movie winning any of those awards are going to be after I give you my review. But a lot of Oscar firepower behind this, like I mentioned. A lot of winners and nominees involved with this. Cate Blanchett, she is an Oscar winner. Guillermo del Toro directed. He won an Oscar for The Shape of Water. He won actually 2 because it won Best Picture as well, and he's been nominated for Pan's Labyrinth. And a lot of nominations here too. Willem Dafoe is in this movie. He's been nominated several times. Bradley Cooper's been nominated. Richard Jenkins has been nominated. Mary Steenburgen has an Oscar. So a lot of Oscar firepower behind this movie. Don't know how that will affect its chances. A lot of big-name movies were out this past year, but this is a remake of a 1940s movie that was, sort of a bomb at the time, actually, but in time became one of the film noir classics that people learn about in school and go back to over and over again. And this movie and that movie based on this book from the mid-40s as well. So similar, kind of style here. This is a film noir. It is set in the same time period, the 1940s. And Bradley Cooper is the star of this film. He plays Stanton Carlyle, this dude who's real down on his luck. But he meets a clairvoyant, Toni Collette. I believe she's also been nominated. And her has-been mentalist of a husband named Pete, who's played by the great David Strathairn, at a traveling carnival. And he sees them sort of as a ticket to success and uses his newly acquired gifts through them to sort of make his way through the elite New York society of the 40s. Rooney Mara stars here as well. She is sort of his companion by his side all the way. And along the way, he meets, Richard Jenkins and Cate Blanchett and Mary Steenburgen in other roles as well. So again, we don't want to get too spoilers, so we don't want to go too far into the details of this movie. So let's just talk about the film on the whole. I think Guillermo del Toro is the right person to have directed this. He's always got this very, very specific eye. Shape of Water was a fantastic movie. That was an A+ for me. And all of his movies sort of have this stamp of the fantastic and this idea of sort of, man is the true monster. We've seen that thread sort of going throughout his films. And I think this one is no exception to that rule. But the noir feel that he captures in this movie is just fantastic. A lot of filmmakers out there try to sort of capture that, and some have done it very fine. But it's hard to really get, like, for example, the recent Hugh Jackman movie, Reminiscence, which was horrible, by the way. I think it might be up for a Razzie or 2. But if not, it should be. It was a bad, bad movie. Sure to be on my worst of 2021 list when I do that in a few weeks. But that was trying to be this, noir with all of the same sort of elements and failed completely, at doing that. This sort of is an homage to noir and at the same time is a very, very good noir. I think a lot of sort of homages do walk that line of like being good at the thing, that they're sort of trying to mimic. So it comes off as very authentic in Del Toro's hands. Then you've got Bradley Cooper, who, for my money, is one of the most talented actors of his current generation, I guess you could say. Star is Born, he was fabulous in a lot of his movies. He's been very, very good in. And we've seen multiple sides of him. He can go from the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff and doing voice work there to, romances he's done to very serious things. And then here is something wholly different. He's never really, to my knowledge, tackled this sort of role either. So he's great. And everybody's playing very well off of each other when you have this kind of talent. I think that's bound to happen. I mentioned all the names. I mean, you could it would be hard to stick two or three of these people in a scene and have it not come off, authentic or anything like that. So that all flows as well. The production design is great. The costumes are great, very authentic to that sort of era, and really the even if it's not necessarily authentic to 1940s New York, it's authentic to that style that we always used to see in those old movies. And, when they say things like, oh, they don't make movies like this anymore, I think this is a movie that you could kind of say that about. And I think Bradley Cooper's done a couple of those. Silver Linings Playbook, I said the same thing about. It was my number one movie of the decade. And, and in terms of romance movies, romantic comedies, I thought Silver Linings Playbook was, a step above. This is not quite as good as that. I'll say that to spoil my grade a little bit. But, it is a movie that we don't see a lot of anymore. And I thought that several times while I was watching this, which it speaks to Del Toro's directing ability, I think. Because I felt the same way with The Shape of Water. It was something new, whereas this is something obviously harkening back to the past, but still, I just thought, wow, this is such an original movie, something so special. Even though this one is a remake, I had the same sort of feelings watching it that I did with Shape of Water. He creates this sort of atmosphere. My biggest flaw, I would say, in the movie is the length. At 2.5 hours, I think it gets too long in the tooth, because the ending scene, and again, we don't do spoilers, so we're not going to talk about it in specifics, but it is just a bang up of a closing scene. It's so great. One of the best closings I've seen all year. But you have to really, really work, to make it to that point, because not that it necessarily ever drags, but I think they could have easily trimmed a good 25, 30 minutes off of this movie. And I don't think we would have been at necessarily a loss. We may have been able to cut out, one sort of plot line in there, and I think it would have been okay. So let's talk Oscar chances for this movie. So like I said, it was nominated for 4 things at the Academy Awards. Best Picture is one of them. I don't think it has really any shot there. I think, a lot of the movies on that list are going to be, I think Belfast has a good shot. West Side Story has a good shot. There's maybe a couple others. I didn't see Licorice Pizza yet, so I can't speak to that, but I just don't think this one is going to hit in that ballpark, especially because Del Toro was not nominated for Best Director. It's pretty rare that something wins Best Picture without even a nomination for Best Director. It does not happen often. I know Argo did it, but that's I think partially because everybody was up in arms that Ben Affleck didn't get nominated as director, so they threw him a bone there. But the other 3: Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Production Design. Costume Design, I think, is probably going to go to Cruella. It's one of those movies where I just feel like, because the people that vote for costume design are people in the design industry, people in the costume industry. So I think they're going to sort of go to that because it's a costume-based movie. And then in terms of cinematography and production design, it's against the same exact 4 movies for both categories. I'm not sure. I mean, I think its best shot would probably be production design, because I think cinematography, you're really looking at most likely either Dune or West Side Story. But maybe production design for this one. But I do actually think this movie's probably going to go home empty-handed. I think Dune was an excellent movie. West Side Story is my favorite movie of the year still so far. So I can't fault it if it loses really to either of those. But I do think this is a very, very good movie, worthy of a lot of the praise it's been given. And it is something very different and unique to today's audiences, but yet a perfect throwback movie, that I think the older crowd will love because it's such a well done homage to the noir format. So overall, I will leave Nightmare Alley with an A minus. Stay tuned on my channel for all of the Oscar stuff. We've reviewed a lot of the movies already, but there's still several that I have not gotten to review yet. Licorice Pizza, Belfast, Drive My Car. So a few biggies that are still to come on the channel. But if you want to search my channel for Oscar Watch, you'll be able to find sort of all the movies we've talked about so far: Dune and King Richard and West Side Story and many others that are up for awards. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see everybody next time. Bye.